Hi, I'm Anita from Needles and Hooks, and in today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to crochet the lattice wrap. This is a beginner-friendly project. I used 2 skeins of Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo in the colorway Burgundy. I didn't use both skeins. I used a whole skein and part of a second one. You can, however, use whatever yarn you would like. This is just what I had on hand. So it measures 15.5 inches by 78 inches with the border. You can use whatever yarn you like, whatever hook size you like. The stitch multiple is 3 stitches for this pattern. If you would like, I have a written pattern that is available to purchase on my Gumroad page. The link to that will be in the description below. I also used a 6mm J hook to make this. This is a little drapier, and I'm going to show you a close-up of the pattern right here. If I can, here we go. It's just a very, very simple, I think it's a 7-row repeat. You have a setup row, and then you just repeat it all the way up. For mine, I did 17 lattice sections. So it's not difficult, it's very simple. So let's get started. Okay, so I have here in front of me a size L 8mm crochet hook that I'm just going to use for chaining purposes only, and then I will switch to the 6mm size J hook. So I have an issue and problems with crocheting loosely, especially when with the starting chain. So that's why I use a size or 2 up. So what we're going to do, we're going to give ourselves a nice decent tail and make our slip knot. And then I'm going to chain 42. And I'll show you the first 10 and I'll meet you back. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I will come back and be ready with our 42 chains, 41 and 42. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my size L hook and bring in my J hook. So we've got our 42 chains. And for our first row, which is our setup row and will not count in our row repeats, we're going to single crochet across each of the chains. So we're going to skip the first chain and go into the second chain from the hook and do our single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I will see you back when I get towards the end of the row. 40, 41. You should have 41 single crochets across. So we're going to start row 2. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. And our chain 3 will count as a double crochet now and throughout the entire project. So you're going to want to skip the base of the double crochet, and we're going to double crochet all the way across. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'll meet you when I get towards the end of the row. 40, 41, and we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to single crochet across all 41 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I'll meet you back when I get over here. 38, 39, 40, and we're going to single crochet in the top of that chain 3. So to start row 4, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and remember this counts as our first double crochet. I'm going to turn our work, and we're going to start our crochet crosses. So we're going to skip the next 2 single crochets, these 2 here, and we're going to work into this third one. We're going to do a treble crochet in the third stitch, and yarn over twice, skip 2 single crochets, insert into the next single crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, then chain 1, yarn over twice, and going in front, we're going to work into this first skip stitch. We're going to leave 1 stitch unworked, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we got 1 treble crochet cross done. Yarn over twice, skip the next 2 single crochets, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, and in front work into that first skip stitch with a treble crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to continue that all the way across until we get to the last single crochet in the row, and I will meet you there. Okay, as you can see, we got across with our cross stitches right here to the last one. Pull some yarn. We're going to yarn over twice, skip the next 2 single crochets, and we're going to treble crochet in this single crochet here. Don't forget to chain 1, yarn over twice, insert in the first skipped single crochet, and in the last single crochet we're going to do a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the last single crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1 and turn. So row 1, 2, 3, 4, row 5, we're going to single crochet across. So we're going to single crochet in the first double crochet, and in the next treble crochet we're going to single crochet, And then in the chain 1 space right here, we're just going to go in between and single crochet in the next 2 treble crochets. Single crochet in the chain space and single crochet in the next treble crochet, which should return you to your original 41 stitches across. Just remember to go in between where the chain space is and then in each treble crochet, and I'll meet you when we get over to here. 38, 39, 40, and we're going to single crochet in the top of that chain 3. Which can be a little difficult sometimes. Single crochet. I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. We're going to repeat row 4 and 5 2 more times, and I'll meet you back when that's done. Now that rows 4 and 5 have been repeated 2 more times, we're at the end of our single crochet row. I'm going to chain 3. One, 2, 3. I'm going to turn our work. This tail is getting in the way. And I'm going to double crochet in each single crochet across. Yarn over. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'll meet you back at the last single crochet. And 41. You should have a total of 10 rows. And in order to repeat this pattern all the way across, you're going to do rows 3 through 10. And I will see you soon. So here is our finished wrap. This wrap is a little over 6 feet long because when I got to 6 feet, I wanted to be able to finish the whole repeat. And right now we're on the back side of the work with the last row being single crochet. And you're going to need a couple of stitch markers. 3 of them are the same color, and I've got one that's a different color. That way I can denote where the start of my round is. So I'm going to chain 1 and flip my work, which is not going to be easy because this thing is, like I said, over 6 feet long. So I'm going to move it where I can get to it. Here we go. Going to chain 1 and turn our work. So what we're going to do, I'm going to single crochet in this first single crochet, and I'm going to place my marker. We're going to do a 3 round border, 1 single crochet, 1 double crochet, followed by a final round of single crochet. So I've got a yellow stitch marker here. I'm going to place that in my first stitch. This way I know where the beginning of the round is. And I have these other stitch markers because when I go to the corners, I'm going to put 3 single crochets in each corner around this first round, and I want to make sure I have the center of those 3 marked into the second stitch of the 3 stitch cluster. So we're just going to go ahead and single crochet across all 41. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41. And we're going to place 2 more single crochets in this last single crochet of the previous row. 1, 2, because the first one will count as the first of the 3. So I'm going to take my orange stitch marker and place it into the center stitch, which would be the second stitch in the corner. That way, when I go and turn the corner for the next rounds, I'll know exactly where to put my cluster of 3 at. Okay, so we got our 3 single crochet cluster. So across here, we're going to do a single crochet into the next row. And then there's this double crochet row. It's just double crochets. We're going to do 1 in there as well. We'll put 1 single crochet in these 2 spots right here at the base of the double crochet row and subsequently in the single crochet row. And then we're in the cross stitch section, the cross trebles. We're going to put 2 single crochets in these spaces here. So I'm going to put 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet at the base of that row, another single crochet into the single crochet row, 2 single crochets in the treble cross stitch row. There's 2 there. 1 single crochet in the base of that row, another single crochet in the single crochet row, 2 more single crochets in the treble cross row. We're going to do that 1 more time. So we have our 3 row section where it's single crochet, double crochet, and single crochet. So we're going to put 1 stitch in the base of that treble cross stitch row, 1 single crochet into the single crochet row, 1 single crochet into the double crochet row, and 1 single crochet in the single crochet row. And then another one in the base or the top of the treble cross stitch row. 2 single crochets here. 2 single crochets across these 2 rows. 2 single crochets. 2 in the next 2 rows. I'm trying to keep myself in frame. Like I said, I'm working with a new camera. 2 single crochets in the treble crochet cross row. 1 in the base. 1 in the single crochet row. 1 in the double crochet row. Another 1 in the single crochet row. And 1 more right after, before the treble cross stitch row. You're going to go repeat that until you get to the end of the long side of your wrap, and I will meet you back when I'm finished. Okay, we're close to the end on the first long side of our border. We're going to continue until we get over to our chain, our initial chain. So we got this single crochet, double crochet, single crochet section, and it is 5 single crochets in this area. So you have like the base of the cross stitch, that's 1, the single crochet row, that's 2, the double crochet row, that's 3, the single crochet, that's 4, and the top of this cross stitch section, that's 5. So when you go and do those, make sure there's 5 single crochets. Not that it really matters, you just don't want your work to bunch up and pucker, or you don't want too many stitches where it's just going to flare out and be all ruffly. So we got our cross stitch section, so we're going to put 2 single crochets there. The base of that row, the single crochet row, and then 2 in the next chain 3 area, or double crochet area, whichever side you're working on. 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets, and then 2 more single crochets in this space, and then 1, 2, 3, and this one will be 4 since we don't have a secondary area, and we're going to put 2 more in that last space. 1, 2. I'm going to place my stitch marker in the second stitch from the last one. And then our work is now on the short side, so we're just going to single crochet across 41 chain spaces, initial starting chain. 1. And you're going to do this all the way across, and I will meet you back when I get to the corner. Now we're at the last chain, and we're going to crochet over our tail when we turn to work the other second long side. So I'm going to single crochet 3 times in this last chain. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to place my stitch marker into this stitch here, 1 stitch away from where the crochet hook is, and we're going to continue going across this side, covering over our tail. Move my work here. So that was the last stitch marker we've placed. Get untangled. Move my wrap out of the way. So we're just going to make sure this is on the back side of the work, but crochet over it. So we're going to go into our next section here. Make sure we're pulling from the actual working end of the yarn that's in the skein. All right, so we're going to single crochet the next spot, single crochet in that double crochet, going over our tail, and then single crochet row, maybe if I can get it back on the hook, and in the base of, or the top of the cross stitch row. Okay, and we're going to start that all over again. 2 single crochets in the chain 3 or double crochet space in our cross stitch pattern, 2 single crochets in between, 2 single crochets in this space, 2 single crochets in here, and 2 single crochets in this space. And then when you hit the section where it's single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, it's 5 single crochets in this area that's comprises of this section right here. And we'll go through it once, and then I will meet you back when I get to the other end, where we get to ready to start our second round. So 2 single crochets, two single crochets in the next 2 spaces, one at the base of the row, one in the single crochet row, 2 single crochets in the treble cross row, two single crochets in the single crochet row, which one is either the base of the row and the other is the single crochet row. 2 more in the treble space, and now we're ready to start our 5 single crochet section here. Get some yarn. We're going to single crochet 1 in the double crochet row, 2. Wait, did I miscount? Hang on here. 2. Okay, I think I missed one. Let me get that. Not use the tail. Single crochet. Okay, and then we go 1, 1 in the single crochet. That's 2. Double crochet. That's 3. Single crochet. 4. And the top of the cross stitch row, 5. So we're going to keep going. I'm going to go ahead and cut my tail, move my working yarn out of the way so I'm not cutting that on accident, because that would be sad. Make sure I'm not cutting through my work either. That would be way sad. Okay, there we go. And I will meet you back when I get to the beginning of our round where our yellow stitch marker was. We are close to the end of our round. Our stitch marker is right here. Apologies for the sirens in the background, but we'll give you a tip. So this side was my chain 3 and turn side, and you got to pay attention because I had to frog back a couple of times in a couple of spots because, one, I wasn't paying attention. I thought I was still doing in the cross stitches, so anytime I came across just the single, double, single rows, I was putting 2 single crochets into the double crochet row section, and that's not correct. You just want 1 single crochet in that double crochet section. So when you get onto the side where it is your chain 3 and turn area, pay attention to that. Like I didn't, but I caught myself and I fixed it. So we are going to continue and finish this row, and we're going to do seeing as I didn't do that. All right. Probably 2, we'll do 2 single crochets at the end. So we're at the bottom of our row. We've got our single crochets, our double crochet, and our single crochet row. And we're going to have to go across. So we've got our row right here, single crochet row. And at the base, and then the single crochet row. And then 1 in the double crochet row. And then we have 2 single crochet rows because we started with our turn. I'm going to go into this one, and we're going to do 1 more single crochet at the end, and we will join with a slip stitch into where our stitch marker is. I'm going to join right here with a slip stitch. And we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put 2 more double crochets into the base of this double crochet. So, oops, double crochet, not single crochet. Maybe I'm having issues. 1. And we're going to go ahead and put our stitch marker in there. That way we know where to put our 3 single crochets on our final round of this border, and one more. I did so many single crochets, I'm single crochet happy. This is a double crochet round, and you're going to continue doing this all the way across here. The same thing, you'll place 3 double crochets in the area where your stitch marker is, and you will replace the stitch marker into the second double crochet of that section. And you're going to do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning of the round. As you can see, I only have a few more double crochets I need to do in order to slip stitch into the first double crochet of the round, so we can start our last round of single crochets, and then our project will be done. Now alternately, instead of doing it this way, you could always do a single crochet, chain 1 or 2, and single crochet in the corners, and then double crochet, chain 1 or 2 on that round as well. So I'm going to get to this double crochet here as a start. The chain 3 on the start of that round, I'm going to go ahead and just double crochet into there. And then I'm going to join with a slip stitch with our stitch marker. Then chain 1. And then 2 more single crochets. 1, 2. I'm going to place this stitch marker into the second of those chains, the single crochets, and then we're going to go single crochet across and do the same thing. It would be 3 single crochets in the area with the stitch markers, and instead of replacing the stitch markers, you're just going to take them out because we're not going to need them anymore. So we're going to single crochet across our short end and do the 3 single crochets in the stitch marker spot, and then all the way down along the sides. Same thing all the way around, and I will meet you back at the beginning of this round where we're going to finish off our work. We've got a few more single crochet stitches to go before we finish it off. So I'm just going to go ahead and single crochet across to our stitch marker. I'm going to remove the stitch marker. I'm going to grab my scissors and give myself a nice long tail as soon as I get this knot out of here. Here we go. I'm going to cut a nice long tail. And I'm going to pull the loop up and get my tail out of the way. And I'm going to attach it to our yarn needle here. Just gonna fold it over and then wiggle it through. You can thread yours however you like. Some people will fold it over and then put it through there. I just fold it in half. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna insert my needle through the back under both loops, pull it through. Then I'm gonna do the same thing, except I'm gonna come over here and pull it back through under both loops there. Go. I'm going to flip the work to the wrong side, and I'm going to hide my yarn in between the single crochet row under a bunch of stitches. However many you want to do, it's up to you. I'm just going to go until I get my yarn needle covered by everything. Pull it through. I'm going to give it a little, I'm going to pull it through. And I'm going to give it a little snip. And that's the end of that. And then I'm going to tug my work a little bit to hide the end. And then with that, our lattice wrap is complete. Wasn't so bad, was it? Anyway, that is all for this tutorial that I have. If you have any comments or questions, or if you get stuck in a section, pretty please leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.